bringing you the latest from Utah State University's Uinta Basin Regional Campus. This is Aggie Update. Now, here's your host, Bob Peterson.
Thanks for joining us today on Aggie Update. On this week's show, I'm joined by USU chemistry professor Michael Christiansen. And Professor Mike, you've been here about, if you don't mind me saying, Professor Mike, you were saying 3 to 4 months. You've been here all of fall semester, and now you're starting spring semester. Mm-hmm. How's it going?
It's going really well.
How's the Uinta Basin suited you?
I love the basin. It's a wonderful place to be. I'm loving the campus, love my students, and I love what I do. I vault out of bed every morning, excited to go to work.
This is Mike's second showing here at VTV, and we're just elated to have you at USU, on the program of course, but USU. So Thanks. You've taught your first couple courses for fall semester were what? What did you teach?
I taught organic chemistry, the lecture course, and the accompanying lab course.
And just how did things fare? Tell me about the experience.
Well, I am an organic chemist, so that really is the class that is my favorite to teach. Absolutely loved it. I have a really good group of students too. Fantastic students.
Professor Christiansen has been with me on several recruiting trips to various high schools.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful to see him, literally jump on the table in front of the stage area with all the students in the auditorium touting chemistry and talking about the cool stuff of chemistry. And so no doubt he's going to be very influential as a recruiter here at USU, and particularly in the sciences. And you know what? You're in a spectacular building over there in the Bingham Research Center.
That is absolutely true. We have excellent laboratory facilities, hood space, wonderful equipment. Great opportunity for us to continue doing some great scientific research.
So speaking of which, what type of innovations are you employing right now in the building?
Yeah, so in the building, equipment-wise, we've just recently obtained a very expensive piece of equipment called a glove box. And a glove box is basically an inert chamber filled with an inert gas in which we can run special chemical reactions in a setting where they are not exposed to air. It looks like something off of TV. We have these big gloves that we put inside the chamber, and we can handle a reaction inside this inert chamber. It's really, really cool.
So is it more for safety's sake, or is it just that's the only time these reactions take place in the absence of air, or is it more safety?
Yeah, it's that. There are certain chemical reactions or reagents that will spontaneously combust if air touches them, and others that will just decompose. So there are just certain chemical reactions that you have to run in this type of a chamber.
So for the students' sake, what are they going to be able to experience by having that device?
They're going to get the opportunity to experience using it. That's one great thing that we have here is we have such a small student-to-teacher ratio that almost every student is guaranteed the opportunity to get or to be able to do research and be able to throw that on a resume for future career choices.
Professor Christiansen also conducts a lot of experiments when students come in from the middle schools, from the high schools, and blow things up in the building.
Yeah.
Maybe just a Cheeto, an edible Cheeto, but it's still, you have a lot of fun. And it's that, I think it's the enthusiasm that's going to catch the minds of these young students and maybe thinking about a science-related field.
No, I hope so. You know, a lot of people don't realize that chemistry is present in everything. The foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the colors in our clothing, the fabrics that we have, the materials that go into making every single physical thing that we interact with, including cars, carpet, paints, everything. And so studying chemistry really does give you the opportunity to springboard into almost any career choice that you want.
I think that's a good thing to bring up, because I think a lot of students think that it's solely, if you're going into chemistry, you're solely going to be maybe in pharmaceuticals, or you're going to be doctoring, or you're going to be some other type of scientist, but there's so many of those other areas that are typically thought of as non-science careers that you make use of it in.
Absolutely.
And that the employer would be really impressed with that knowledge.
Absolutely. Any career in business, I'm certain, would be benefited by some expertise or experience in chemistry. In addition to that, any career in any of the medical sciences, if you want to be a medical doctor, go into nursing, go into pharmacy, go into being a dentist or a veterinarian, or any other related field would be excellent. If you want to go into any type of science field, of course, chemistry is an excellent foundation to build upon.
Do you have fun with what you're doing?
Yeah, I do. I should mention really quickly that one thing that I'm doing right now is I've been switching the way I teach my students. I put all of my lectures online, and their homework is to watch the lectures outside of class, and then we spend in-class time doing problems together.
Well, let's touch on that in the next segment. I'm joined today with Professor Christiansen, and we're going to be joined with him in the next segment and talk more about chemistry and how it might relate to you. We'll be right back.
At Utah State University, we understand your priorities because we live in the same communities. We realize you don't want to give up what you love to get what you need. That's why we offer over 40 quality degree programs in communities throughout Utah.
Welcome back to Aggie Update. We're here today with USU chemistry professor Michael Christiansen, and it's wonderful to have you on the program, Mike. Your second time back, and you were talking about maybe a new way of learning for our students, and you were talking about online implications for our students. Now I know of a hybrid class where students do go away for a couple weeks and study on their own. They come back and get some live time with an instructor, and it works really well with work and school schedules. Are we talking that kind of thing in a chemistry?
No, it's a little different than that. One thing that I've read a lot of education research articles where they talk about how strictly lecturing at students sometimes doesn't always help students with learning in the best way possible. What I've strived to do in my class this semester, I just recently started doing this, was employing this new model called flipped teaching. The way it works is I pre-record all of my lectures on a video format and I post them online. My students are then required, according to a specific schedule, to watch those lectures online before they come to class. And then when they come to class, we spend the duration of class time working together on problems so that we can solidify the things that they learned from the lectures together. And I'm really pleased with the results. I think that overall the lectures end up taking up less student time than they would, whereas typically what I do is lecture the entire class period.
Well, you know what I like about that is students can hit the rewind button and go back. If they don't get a concept, like a lot of us couldn't, they say, what was that? What did he say? And they don't rewind. So you go back and rewind, and when it comes time to listen to you live, they maybe got a better understanding.
That's exactly right. And I've had anonymous evaluations of where my students have evaluated this technique, and my students who really like it, the majority of them greatly prefer it over the traditional technique, and they all have mentioned that ability.
You know, there's also a lot of people taking chemistry need good math skills as well, and there's also, you know, Dr. Wheeler is teaching online versions of 1010 and 1050, Math 1010 and 1050, and so those are college algebra type courses, so they're online classes for a math class, which you know, it's kind of interesting, but the same thing as he says is they go back and they can replay what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they certainly have the capacity to communicate with you about problem areas they don't know, but it seems like a new age we're going into.
It is. I think that we're getting into a new situation where kids have access to computers now, and
they're not always in our buildings listening to us live.
Exactly. I frequently have my students bring computers like handheld tablets or laptops to class and watch my lectures in class while they're doing problem sets as well.
You know, they bring them to church. Why not bring them to school?
Right.
Dr. Christiansen, let's give us a little bit of a chemistry lecture, if you will. I know the listening on the viewers, I'm sorry, will probably have an interest in what you might teach them in a chemistry moment. It's your chemistry moment.
So one of the things that I say frequently is that organic chemists, we make drugs. If you have any interest in being in charge of or having a career that helps discover new medicines, and yes, I should point out that we don't want you to make illegal narcotics. We focus on researching out new drugs to help treat diseases. And so that's what we do. If you have any interest in that kind of thing, this is the field for you.
Yeah, and you know, he did some real chemistry at the high school, at Union High School, not too long ago, where he literally caught a rag on fire, and it was really cool because the rag never caught fire.
Yeah.
But it was the solution that you had drenched it in, right?
Yeah, so you drench a rag in a 50-50 mixture of distilled water and isopropyl alcohol, light it on fire, put it out, it doesn't burn the rag. All the heat from the fire and the isopropyl alcohol goes to evaporating off the water instead of burning the rag. I do it again and again, and it's kind of exciting because the flame is very pretty. It's a pretty blue.
Well, the kids liked it.
Kids like fire, yeah.
I just, you know, can you tell this individual is excited about chemistry? So I would just counsel anybody, especially our viewers who are maybe contemplating coming back to school and maybe looking at a science area, come see Dr. Christiansen, because he can put chemistry in a whole new light and get you excited about coming to school. As so many students I've heard, you've had some glowing reports about your teaching methods and just the excitement level for chemistry.
It's true. I absolutely love it. Love what I do, and I love chemistry.
That's it for today. If you need more information on chemistry or Michael Christiansen, go to our website at uintabasin.usu.edu. And thanks for joining us, and thanks, Dr. Christiansen, for being here.
I'm Mike Christiansen. I'm a professor of chemistry here at USU Uinta Basin, and I am an Aggie.